Hi, my name is Haley, also known as Someday Knits here on YouTube as well as Instagram and Ravelry. And today I have another podcast. So since we last hung out, I finished up a couple of the smaller projects. I've made a lot of progress in a couple different places. And then we'll just kind of talk about what I plan next. And I did some traveling, so I picked up a couple things. But let's just hop straight into it. The first finished object that has been finished before is my mom's Duke sweater. It's already been washed and blocked, so you can't tell as easily, but I ripped back to about here to undo the cables, and then I reknit it straight, added some more cables, and in total I added about 3.5, 4 inches to the body. All she wanted was more length, so I didn't have to do anything too crazy on that one. And I think all in all, it took maybe 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours to redo, and now it's going to be perfect for her to wear all the time. So I'd say it was completely worth it. That project also had a regular cast off, like the most basic knit one, slip it over cast off, so it was really easy to rip out and redo. So the other thing I have finished is this guy. This is the butter bun pattern by Projectarian. It is a crochet amigurumi pattern for butterfly wings and a bunny that you're supposed to sew them onto, but I just am not interested in the bunny that much currently. I was totally in it for the wings, and they came out 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10, I would say. This wing right here, you can see it has a nice little shape to it. This one, I just don't know what's going on. Um, Something went wonky, and you can see in the middle, they just look different. I really don't know what I did wrong, but I feel like that was definitely an error on my part somewhere. I was kind of just really wanting to see what the end result was going to look like. So I would say I was a little bit rushed in reading the pattern, and I don't read crochet patterns very often. So I probably just misunderstood something and went wrong somewhere. But overall, I think they came out really cute. I have no idea what to use them for, what to do with them now that they're finished. I did purchase a lot of yarn to get this like color combination. I think there's 7 colors in here. Um, and I just gave all the rest of the skeins to my little sister, so that part's fine. Now I just have to find a purpose for these wings. However, they did come out so cute that I think I want to make another pair in the intended size, which I think is worsted weight yarn on a 3mm hook, or maybe it's DK on a 3mm hook. But they would come out a lot smaller and a lot cuter. And I don't know what I would do with those wings either, but maybe since they would be a lot smaller, I will put them on the back of a bunny, or maybe put them on the back of a bear, or maybe frame them pinned out like how people frame real butterflies and have a little wall piece. I'm not sure. I will say the acrylic yarn I used Big Twist Value. Are you okay? Anyways, I used Big Twist Value. I would say it's about a 3 out of 10 on the favorite yarn scale. And I think if I were to redo it again, I would do it out of a wool so that it wasn't so fuzzy. I don't know if fuzzy's the word, but when you are like in person, these colors bleed into one another like the fuzzes. So I would do it in a yarn that sticks to itself more, if that makes sense. But that is probably a future, possibly never going to happen plan. And that's all I've finished. A somewhat finished piece is my pearl sweater. I made a lot of progress on this guy since we last um, spoke. I finished the body completely, and I also did the folded V-neck, and it's just perfection. In my personal, not so humble opinion, the what is it called? The bind off for the body, it calls for Italian bind off, and I'm holding a strand of wool and a strand of mohair, which I just refuse to do Italian bind off with. If you've ever attempted Italian bind off with mohair or anything fluffy, you know the frustration it can create. So when I got to that last row to start sewing, I just cut the mohair and wove that in and did the Italian bind off with just the wool strand. You can't tell. It looks the exact same, and it was pain free. So I highly suggest. I did go for more of a cropped, I wouldn't call it cropped because my torso is completely covered, and if I were to wear like low-rise jeans, uh you wouldn't see my button, but it's like just the right length, which is shorter than I normally go. So it's cropped for me. I usually do like oversized. I'm gonna drown in this sweater. But when I had tried on the body to see how much longer I needed to go, it was just looking really cute in that shorter length. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it was the fact that I was wearing like real pants when I actually tried it on versus like pajamas. But something told me that I just needed to stop there and go ahead and do the ribbing and call it a day. And so far, I'm happy with it. I think I'll get a little bit more length as always when I wash and block it out and stuff, but I'm gonna pick up the sleeves and knit the full sweater before I wash it. Not the biggest fan of blocking things mid-project. I think it's just because overall I'm kind of impatient. You gotta wait a couple days for things to dry when you block them. But yeah, things are smooth sailing over there in Pearl Sweaterland. And then my next one that I've made progress on is the Korshavn Sweater Man for my husband. This sweater has been a journey, so I've just split for the front and back panels. This is work bottom up in the round, and then you cast off stitches, like where you would normally cast on stitches under the arm, you cast them off instead, and then start working the front and back panels. So all these stitches over here are just kind of sitting on the needles, and I'm working flat on this front section right here at the moment, and I don't have much to show for it. I've done like one basket. Anyway, I have gotten this far before, and I had to frog it all out. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I had knit the full body, and then I had to frog back to the last row of the second basket, pull it all out. It was heartbreaking, but I got over it. But I had realized that when I was working the pattern, for whatever reason, I read the chart correctly for this very first basket, which is 4 rows. And then literally every single basket beyond that, I only did 3 rows. What happened in my mind to make me drop that last row? I really have no idea, but I committed to it. I was strong and wrong, and I did everything in 3 row baskets. Could I have continued and just let it fly? Absolutely. But I think that that fourth row being like missing is what looked and felt so off to me. So when I would see pictures of other sweaters on Instagram, because you know, if you say one thing too close to your phone, it's going to spam you on Instagram. So I kept getting all these Kershaw sweater um, pictures on my Explore page and things like that. And I was like, it looks similar, but not the same. And I could not put my finger on what was different. And also, how I mentioned in the last episode, like the holes, it still looked like so many holes. I think that's what the major difference was because in the body for the length that I was knitting, missing that one row added 3 extra rows of holes. So that's 3 tall, and then obviously they're all spaced out. So it did add a lot of extra holes, and it was putting all the holes closer together. And I think that slight difference is what was throwing me off. So I decided not to leave it because I wanted to see if doing it correctly would fix what I was seeing, and it absolutely did. It might look the exact same to you, but to me, it looks so different and so much better. Like the baskets are nice and chunky and more square versus being more rectangle. And the holes are ever so slightly further apart. I don't know, the spacing of them just makes more sense in my head. And from when I frogged everything to when I um, got back to this point was only like 2 days. So, in my opinion, well worth it. And now I can tread along happily, knowing that everything is how it should be. And the icing on the cake for ripping it out and starting over was when you work flat, if you have the 3 rows instead of the 4, it puts you on an odd number. So I would have had to be like flipping the chart and kind of rearranging everything and doing some right side rows on the wrong side. And I was just like, okay, this is just a sign to frog and, you know, cry about it for a second and move on because in the end, it's going to make things a lot smoother and a lot easier. Um, so yeah, overall, that was a long-winded way of saying I ripped it out, I redid it, and I'm so happy that I did. And I think I kind of got sucked into those 2 projects. I did travel. I took a trip to Gatlinburg and had a little family cabin week. So I don't know, I was kind of just picking up things that took the least amount of effort that I could like be social and knit on at the same time. So a lot of my other projects kind of fell behind. I have done one more square on my 2024 blanket, this guy right here. So we are slowly but surely making progress, and it's looking good. So the corner is starting to fill out, if you can see, and she's super soft, super duper cozy. I haven't been weaving in any of the ends because I got lazy. And future Haley is going to be so mad at me for that. But, you know, 'tis life. This guy, this guy we might skip because I don't know if I've had any progress on it. I really want to get back to it. But I think this looks the same as last time. And this guy as well. We're in the same boat of being so close, but still so far because the yarn has not come yet, which is kind of giving me a stall all around. But it does come soon, I think. I know I wrote it. Oh, yes. It comes on Friday. So once that last ball comes in, I'll probably finish this either Saturday or Sunday. and then I will free up my circulars. I have a lot of cords, cables. I have a lot of cables and a lot of needle tips, but I only have this one combination for 4 millimeter 16 inch. So I gotta wait. Um, I don't feel like it's super necessary to go out and get another pair at the moment. If that changes, I'll let you guys know. But I'm so excited for this to be done because it is the softest, coziest thing. And I just want to block it out so it's nice and like defined and live in it pretty much. So that's the direction that one is headed in. And oh, it's unraveling. And yeah, so as far as finished objects and whips go, that's pretty much it. Future plans. I really want to pick up this guy, my cold water pullover. This is self-drafted. And the inspo was kind of those t-shirts you can find on the beach, and it'll say like Miami Beach or, Venice Beach, super huge. And it has that really wide horizontal top pattern, and then the rest of the shirt kind of goes down. So I did this super thick back panel, and I've picked up for the front panels. I just haven't connected them under. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm lying. I did connect them under the neck. I just haven't done this front panel long enough to meet up with the back panel. And really the only reason for that was that stockinette knit flat is like, um, that's the best way I can describe it. Stockinette in the round is also really hard for me. I I don't know. I don't know. There's something about the lack of chaos that doesn't keep me interested. However, a stockinette finished item is so, so good in the wardrobe. I feel like cables and texture and stuff can just kind of be too formal or just too, yeah, if it feels more like an outfit, whereas plain stockinette is like, I'm just real cash right now, real casual, real laid back. So I definitely want them in my wardrobe, and I did this crazy-ish construction because I thought that would help keep me interested, and it definitely did. But then I finished it as far as like the setup, and now stockinette is left. So I have to find a way to make myself motivated. I know once I finish the front panel so that it can link up with the back, then I'll be excited to see how it's looking when I try it on and I can skip to the collar. But yeah, I'm just not sure. I really do want to pick it up before the next episode, though. That is assuming that I finish the pearl sweater and the mixed rib, and probably my husband's too. Wow, will I have 3 finished sweaters next episode? Maybe. Maybe. That would be crazy. Um, okay, so while I was traveling, there was the absolute most adorable yarn shop called Smoky Mountain Spinnery. It was a hidden gem, to be honest. I would do the drive just to go back to that shop. They had everything, and everything had a purpose. Um, I don't know, I just felt like their inventory made sense. Sometimes I'll go in a yarn shop and it's like maybe 3 or 4 chunky yarns in like 30 different colors each, but there's not much variety outside of color. Like it's the same stuff in a bunch of different colors. Versus this shop was like so many different weights, so many different fibers, so many different colors. And it was true variety, like truly something for everyone. There was yarn, there was fiber, there was so many tools, so many different like actual spinning gadgets like wheels and drop spindles and all the above, and stuff that's hard to find in store and I've been avoiding paying the shipping for, like these sock blockers. They just had them there hanging on the wall, and obviously you don't have to pay shipping when you buy stuff in store. So I was like, okay, this must be a sign that it is actually time for me to pick up some sock blockers. So I grabbed those. These are, I don't have the tags anymore, so I don't know who makes them, but they were like 20 bucks. They came in small, medium, and large. I picked up the medium, and my shoe size is a size 7. So these are kind of big. Like this is really the size of my foot, and normally you would want the socks to be like a little bit smaller than your foot, but the size small was too small. So I was at this weird in between place, and I decided to go with the bigger size so that the socks look like stretched out and pretty when I take pictures of them, which who knows, may come to regret that later, but currently happy with that decision. And then I picked up some 40-inch um, ChowGoo fixed circulars in 2 millimeter, um, and some gold light bulb markers. I picked up these because my Addy unicorns have just been too blunt and they've been giving me a lot of frustration. And I think that's the reason I'm so slow to complete a pair of socks because, again, stockinette is a mental challenge for me. So the only socks I've knit have cables and seed stitch and a lot going on. So I think the lace tip on these is going to make that a lot easier. And then I got 40-inch for those random moments where I just want to start socks 2 at a time. But my plan at the moment is to use this. It's called Hartley's Hand Dyes, and it is a one-of-a-kind hand dyes from one-of-a-kind hand dyes from Cosby, Tennessee, 75/25 superwash merino and nylon, and it's 463 yards. So this is a unnamed color. Let's focus, please, please. Thank you. It's an unnamed color. It is white and purple and blue and just everything I love all on a skein of sock yarn. And it is, like the label says, one of a kind. I decided to pick this up because it is dyed by one of the ladies that works at that yarn shop. So it was super souvenir-y, very memories. And yeah, I grabbed this. I'm going to use these and I'm going to try a stockinette sock. I'm going to do, my current plan is toe up, stockinette, obviously, German short row heel, because I found that it just moves so much faster. And the heel flap and gusset is nice and all, but it's not the most comfortable to wear. And I don't really like how the contrast, like if I do the heel in a contrast color, I don't like how far back it sits on my heel. All of those are like just very nitpicky, but um I did do a DK pair of socks with a German short row heel and it just went by so much faster. The fit was amazing and I loved it. I will say I do increases in the gusset. Is that considered the gusset? I don't actually know what a gusset is, but when you're doing a toe up sock with the heel flap and gusset, you do the sock, you increase, and then you do the heel flap and gusset. So that increase section, when I did the German short row heel, I still increased as if I was going to do a heel flap and gusset. Um, and I feel like that just made the fit super perfection. But German short row heels are worked really differently. So I didn't have to do nearly the same amount of increases, but that's my plan. I'm gonna figure out somehow how many increases I need to do a German short row heel, and then do the leg. What I haven't decided is if I want to do a 1 by 1 rib cuff, a 2 by 2 rib cuff, or a double knit cuff, because I've been seeing a lot of double knit and folded over cuffs, and it just looks super cozy. My only hesitation is that if I do double knit, then I need to do an Italian cast off, and I'm just not confident that that won't pop when I'm trying to put the socks on. Because I found that that cast off is not the best if it's going to be like a tension area in the garment, like if you have a close neckline that you're stretching over your head or the top of a sock. So I think for the look, I might just continue in stockinette and fold it over. And then the question is, what cast off is going to sit nice and flat on the inside? So maybe I'll have to sew it down. I'm not sure. That's the plan. If you have any advice or inspiration, please let me know in the comment section down below, because you guys always tell me great things and it makes my life a lot easier if I'm being honest. And I think that's it for yarn, but for non-yarn, look what I have. Oh, it's so shiny. Can you see? Let's see, how do we fix this? Okay, you can kind of see. This is the bowl that I did my kids' handprints on. Is this the same bowl? No, it's not. Because the one that I made, I put my daughter's feet on the inside, my son's hands on the outside, and my daughter's feet were in a light green that I thought was going to be fine since I was using a white background, but it just wasn't that fine. And I didn't love it, and they're only going to be this big for a very short amount of time. So I had to start over, and this is the second bowl. So I did a much darker green for my son, and then I did a pinky mauve for my daughter, one of each foot, and then I put both their hands on the outside. So these are Scarlett's chunky hands. I mean, those hands are beefy. And then I did my son Troy, his hands on this side. And I'm really hoping it's not too shiny for y'all to see, but it is the absolute cutest thing. And then I have the family, and me and my husband are on the bottom. We are full grown adults, so our hands and feet, my camera turned off, but as I was saying, we are full size people, so we couldn't fit much more than our thumbs on the bottom, and it just came out super, super cute. I can't wait to fill it with apples and bananas and all their favorite snacks. And this way, if it's full, I can still see my daughter, and if it's empty, I can see their feet. Because that was the other thing. In the other version, if there was anything in the bowl, I couldn't see Scarlett anymore. And I'm just paranoid of somebody feeling left out. I just want them to feel so included all the time. Not that they even care. She can't even talk. Like, this isn't something that she's personally mentioned to me, but I just love, like, what is it called? The sentiment, and just having little things that just you walk in the door and you see it and you know you're home. And I want her to be able to see that on the outside too, you know? Maybe I overthought it. Maybe I overthought it. But did it make me happy? Absolutely. Overjoyed. Over the moon. It's the cutest thing I own at the moment. It is the one thing I will run into a burning house for. And yes, 10 out of 10 recommend. If you have little ones, do it. If you have big ones, try. Maybe just get a bigger bowl or maybe get a big plate, you know? But having something that you can just use every day, but also it's so like, oh, the memories, so good. So yeah, that was a non-yarn related tangent. But I think a happy note to end on. So I'm going to leave it here. If you have it in your heart to like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And if you have anything that you want to see from me, let me know in the comments down below. And I will catch up with you on the next one. Bye.